Good evening, Merry Christmas, and welcome to a special 20th anniversary broadcast of Christmas at the Cathedral. My name is Mark Conzemius, President of the Catholic Community Foundation for Eastern South Dakota, your host during the special commercial-free broadcast provided by the generosity of Kellerland Television and our Christmas at the Cathedral presenting sponsors. During this 20th anniversary Christmas at the Cathedral special, you'll hear from the Bishop of Sioux Falls, the Most Reverend Paul Swain. We'll take you behind the scenes, show you what it takes to produce this special concert, which has become an annual tradition for many across our region. You will meet the people who benefit from this concert. We'll introduce you to a group of women who have dedicated their lives to praying for each of us. And of course, you will experience this year's Christmas at the Cathedral concert, Reimagine Christmas. The Cathedral of St. Joseph is a beautiful civic and sacred landmark, a beacon of hope. What a perfect backdrop to host this concert that has become a Christmas tradition.
Well, we're blessed to have the cathedral up on the hill. And I'm told that when it was first proposed that the city suggested that it be down farther because there's a stream runs right under the cathedral, and that's created some maintenance issues over the years. However, it is a high point, and we view it as a beacon of hope. And so whether it's at Christmas time or other time, you see the steeples, you see this magnificent building, built in a day when I'm just amazed people had the vision and the tenacity and perseverance to build it. And so it is an uplifting physical. It's one of the ways God expresses God's creativity is in the physical, and in church buildings and in sacred art, sacred music. So it's a great gift, and to our community, to our diocese, to our state, and beyond, because people come to visit the cathedral from all over the world. We can get so caught up in the busyness of the world that we lose perspective and just kind of react to things, or we get worn down, both physically and spiritually. And we all say we need vacations, we all say we need some spiritual downtime, but the Christmas at the Cathedral concert is one of those times when we're doing something different from our normal day. And it's focused, it's positive, it's family together, it's uplifting, it's using God's gifts, creative gifts in so many ways: music, words, song, prayer. It just is, it's settling. Mark, the number of people who come up to me say, "This begins Christmas for me." I'm just so grateful for all those who have supported it over the years. Its purpose is not simply to get together, but it's a way in which we can maintain this building, which we inherited in its beauty. And also, in recent years, we've expanded it to be part of the way we support the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House for those with special needs, the homeless and others who need not only a helping hand, but also a sense of hope. And so it all comes together in this concert, which is just a beautiful moment, but also has lasting benefit.
As Bishop Swain said, Christmas at the Cathedral has brought hope to so many over the past 20 years. But this concert does not happen without the hard work, talent, and prayers of so many dedicated individuals, both professional and volunteer, that have worked on the production over the past 2 decades.
I can remember the very first Christmas at the Cathedral. Our former bishop, now Archbishop Carlson, the Archbishop of St. Louis, he was here, and he knew what a beautiful gem we had in the cathedral. Plus, he also knew that music combined with beautiful architecture can really move people in a unique way. And we did this concert, and first thing I thought of was the South Dakota Symphony Orchestra, Henry Charles Smith. He was terrific. Henry was up for anything. He loved to make music and loved to make music in the cathedral, one of his favorite places to perform in. And I realized, wow, the people really responded. The music is so beautiful in there. Where could we take this? And that was we did 2 concerts, and both those concerts sold out. So I said to Henry, what do you say we tell a little bit of story to help us transition?
Well, it started with, I met Mark Conzemius, and he was interested in having some original music be a part of the program. And so we talked about it, and at the time it was the beginning of the effort to restore St. Joseph Cathedral. So I was commissioned to write a new piece, Thy Will Be Done, which we're actually featuring this year in the 20th anniversary concert program. And so it was sort of finding ways to incorporate new sorts of pieces or new arrangements that would fill gaps in the sort of existing repertoire that we could program in the concert. So that was my first involvement. Before I was involved in conducting, I was involved in composing music and arranging music that would be utilized in the program when Henry Charles Smith was still the music director and conducting the programs. Working with Henry Charles and the South Dakota Symphony was a great opportunity because it was the first time, being new to the Sioux Falls community, that I had had an opportunity to make music here locally in my new home. Before then, I mean, I was still frequently flying out to different places, conducting and producing and working on music projects that weren't being sort of homegrown, so to speak. And so this was a great opportunity to plug into the musical culture of what was going on here in our community. And so my role kind of moved from being, just involved behind the scenes, writing and helping to produce new pieces, into getting involved in and sort of taking over and helping to then be involved in the process of bringing those pieces to life each year in the program as they go from the preparation stage into the final production stage, where you see and hear the orchestra and the artists and the choir involved in performing the pieces in the cathedral.
The creation of Christmas at the Cathedral has evolved over the 20 years of its existence, of its history. I think people would really be surprised that we actually begin thinking of the next year's Christmas at the Cathedral during the particular year. So, the best time to think about Christmas is during the Christmas season.
I guess the first stage is after Christmas at the Cathedral is over, the beginning of the year, or sometime, around the first of the year after the holiday season dies down. Mark and I actually sit down and we talk about and we review the previous year's program. So, sometime in probably January of 2017, we'll actually sit down and talk about, last year's program, what we think worked really well, what are some areas or things we want to improve on, or even what are some new ideas that we had. I mean, unfortunately, one of the hardest things about producing a show, it's like making a film or any, piece of art or any kind of a program. Sometimes your best ideas don't make it into the show, into the end result. So you file those away and think about ways that you can incorporate some great ideas that you had that weren't a good fit for this year's program into future programs.
We get into it really heavy, about May. Dan and I will get back together again, zero in on what we believe is a good theme to work on. And then I collect some information, and then in July, it's become a tradition now, the week right after the 4th of July, second week of July. I'm going to be sitting in my shorts and headphones on, listening to Christmas music, researching various themes, and putting the script together. So it's about a week-long process in which by the end we'll come up with a good working script.
You want to try to construct the show in such a way that the pieces give a sense of telling the story. It's not all contemplative, it's not all, big and festive. You want to have a combination of those things that give a sense of pacing to the overall program as you make those choices and decide what songs and what pieces and where the narration is going to fit in to help tell the story and give it continuity. And I always say it's a good balance between continuity and versatility. You want to have variety in how you tell your story, and yet you want to keep the message clear and concise going through as it weaves its way through the concert program.
By August, Dan really likes to have all the music together, and then he begins to send that music out to the soloists. Each soloist has a particular gift, a particular type of singing, the way they sing, the best way for them to express a particular song. Dan can arrange the music in a particular key. He can put the tempo, just the right mood to the piece. And once the soloists they begin working on it.
Putting together a program like this is a challenge, and I think that if we do our job well, then we've sort of done the heavy lifting. And I think the audience member that sees Christmas at the Cathedral, in the Cathedral, even on television, shouldn't have a sense of sort of that struggle, that creative struggle that goes on behind the scenes. I relate it to like a tapestry. If you've ever seen a tapestry from the front, you see this beautiful picture, an image that is captivating. If you turn it over, you see this gnarled mess of, you know, threads going all over the place, and just, it looks completely haphazard. And so that's a lot of kind of what the process of creation is like in the arts, is that we should do if we do our job well, then we as creators kind of find ways to effectively tell a story and communicate with the audience in a way that it makes perfectly logical sense, and it's captivating and inspiring and effective, and yet probably the listener or the viewer is unaware of all of the work that went into making it seem like, that makes perfect sense when it's done.
We are grateful for the 400 volunteers and professionals that are part of each Christmas at the Cathedral weekend, many of whom you don't see but have helped breathe life into each of the 89 concerts over the past 20 years.
We take care of technical support for the production, so that's lighting and sound, helping to make sure that our performers are mic'd properly and that they're able to be heard in the space. I always tell people that I hate it when at the end of a show, if somebody says, hey, we want to thank, you know, Dale, our sound guy, Nick, our lighting person. For me, I want to be transparent. And so if the audience doesn't know I'm there, that means I've accomplished my job. You know, it is a large scale production, and but thankfully when they did the renovation of the space here, they accommodated for that accordingly. So we're able to control all the architectural lighting in the whole facility. You know, dim it and make items as bright or as dim as we'd like, so we can light up the ceiling of the nave specifically if we want to. We're able to light up just the Stations of the Cross if we'd like to. And then we also put some theater lighting in to help light the performers and the orchestra, the choir. And then we also make use of some LED lighting to help give some accent color throughout the facility as well. You know, it's every year I think it's a little bit different. Interesting to hear comments from people. You know, there's some people that will have one song, one move of lighting change that just is something really emotional for them. Sometimes it's a specific passage that somebody will speak or narrate. You know, other times it's a portion of a song that will move people. But I think there's an element, there's something there for everybody to find that is brings back memories or brings back emotions. You know, I think that to get the Christmas message out, no matter what denomination you're a part of, the message of salvation through God's Son, Jesus. So it's great to be able to have people who maybe might not otherwise get into a church. It's great to have them come and experience the salvation that Christ can only give.
Some 5,000 people attend Christmas at the Cathedral each year, and thousands more have experienced it across the country on 5 nationally televised broadcasts, as well as our annual broadcast right here on Kellerland Television. It's for each of you that we produce Christmas at the Cathedral.
I think it helps us remember what the season's really all about. Kind of kicks off the whole Christmas season for us after everything else is done, and now we can settle in to relax and hang out with family and enjoy a night together. It's always inspiring because you can see all the work everybody put in. You can see true professionals honoring God, honoring our community with their skills and their talent.
It's neat how the nativity scene comes to life right before your eyes with live music and the singers. Even just through the words and the music, I think it just comes to life within your heart. It makes you think about why we really celebrate this.
I like the instrumental, I like the orchestra, that's different. I like how they incorporate kids, and you know, when my girls are old enough to bring them, I think, you know, they talk about it at school, their classmates, I get to participate and meet the singers. And there's also some fresh faces, people, professionals that they bring in, that's awesome. And then I love also how they have the bishop there too, so it's just a community thing that all faiths can come to, the kids know about it, and it's just neat to see it all come together.
This cathedral is so beautiful, and I used to bring my late mom, and this was a tradition that we would come It's just, the cathedral is just a beautiful background for the beautiful music. It just puts you in the Christmas spirit, and it's and to be a part of the cathedral. I've been to Europe a couple times, and this just, when I get in the cathedral, I think I'm in, one of the big cathedrals in Europe with all this wonderful talent.
It's always been a family tradition to come to Christmas at the cathedral, and I guess now that our mom has passed on, it's a wonderful legacy to live in the cathedral at Christmas time and just be a part of Christmas at the cathedral.
The meaning behind Christmas at the Cathedral is to share and celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ in this beautiful and sacred space. The restoration of the Cathedral of St. Joseph was completed 5 years ago, in July of 2011. Part of the restoration included an endowment for the ongoing care and maintenance of this magnificent sacred and civic landmark, an endowment that is one of the beneficiaries of Christmas at the Cathedral.
There's a lot of excitement when Christmas at Cathedral rolls around, a lot of excitement. More visitors, more pilgrims come to the cathedral. They take in the great beauty and the majesty of the cathedral and its sacredness, the solemnness. For us as a cathedral parish, I mean, look around at this place. It took a lot of work to do this restoration. It took a lot of money to do this restoration. And we know we need to keep it up. Bishop Swain is always talking about how the people of this diocese restored this beautiful cathedral, and now it's up to us to make sure that we can continue to keep it maintained and sustainable. So we wouldn't be able to keep the majestic look, the colors and all the painting and the marble and everything that goes into making this a majestic cathedral, a beautiful cathedral, if it was not for Christmas at Cathedral. Any pastor's nightmare, as you know, is bricks and mortar, and that is, having the money, the financial means to take care of any church building. It doesn't make any difference. When we have that endowment, and Christmas Cathedral, helps to, Christmas at Cathedral, builds that endowment to maintain this beautiful, majestic cathedral so that we can focus on what we're really supposed to focus on, and that is the salvation of souls, the pastoring of people, of preaching the gospel, of teaching them in the sacraments, in the word, and leading people to heaven. That's our job. So as a staff, as a rector and as a staff, that's what we can concentrate on. We can concentrate on the people who come to us and are in need. We can concentrate on ministering the way that we're supposed to minister. We can concentrate on making sure that our people get the sacraments. We can concentrate on prayer, as we're supposed to be concentrating on. So that's what Christmas at Cathedral, the endowment which helps maintain this beautiful, majestic cathedral, that's what it does for us.
Another beacon of hope in our community is the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House. This ministry provides day and night emergency shelter to the most needy and vulnerable in our midst. As a way to ensure that the homeless in our community have access to this important facility, an endowment was set up for its long-term care and maintenance. This allows the Bishop Dudley House staff to focus on individuals and families who are in need of emergency shelter.
We were kind of like, my wife and I were sleeping in our vehicle, and with the kind of like a couple times with the kids, and then when we found out that the Bishop Dudley House had a family unit, that made us happy.
Because without them, to be honest with you, we probably would have lost our children to the state. The state probably would have came in and taken them because we had really virtually no place to go. And I would have been lost without them. I look at my girls and I never imagined myself being in a homeless situation with them because I've always put myself to be better than my own family was when I was growing up. But it happened. It happens to the people that you wish you know, it wouldn't happen to, but it happens.
The circumstances that surround individuals and families that come to the Bishop Dudley House, they have a myriad of things that have happened. And basically what has happened is that they've hit a crisis point and they don't know where to turn, and they're at that tipping point. And they need somebody to help stabilize them, so then they know that, number one, that there's hope, that tomorrow can be a better day. And number two, that there's people that are out there in the community who really have their best interests at heart, and that they're gonna work with them, collaborate with them, and work with them through their struggles and their troubles so we can get them to a better place. And that's exactly what happened with this situation here. Last year we served over 1,500 unique guests. And this year in 2016, through the end of October, we've already served over 1,275 unique individuals. So we're on pace once again to serve over 1,500 unique individuals here in our community. And to me, again, that's a mind-boggling number to think about in our community. That's almost about 1% of the population that we have in the city of Sioux Falls are experiencing homelessness and poverty. So working with them, showing them the proper way, and providing them the tools that they can to be successful long term. You know, the biggest thing is that, you know, we really want to empower the guests that we have to take charge of their life situations and to work through those situations and know that there is hope for a better tomorrow. So through all of our collaborative partners, we've already this year, year to date, transitioned over 165 people back out into the community who are having jobs, who are having their own place of residence. And to me, that's the most rewarding piece, because they see that I can do it if I just have the appropriate support network in place.
It makes me feel good that, you know, there is ways, like, there's a lot of people that think there is nothing in Sioux Falls that would help families out, but like the Bishop Dudley House is like one of the best places for like homeless families to go to, because they ask, you know, they take good care of you and they make sure nothing happens. Like when you're in the family unit, they make sure like they're a secured place back there, and they make sure nothing happens to you and your kids.
Because without them, like, we wouldn't even be in our own home right now. We wouldn't have what we have right now if they didn't help us get to where we needed to be, you know, and help us, you know, like, get on the ball and get everything moving. And it's such an overwhelming feeling that I get to have Christmas in my own home. And I'm excited because my kids are gonna be able to go over and, you know, play in their rooms, open their Christmas presents in the morning, and be able to have them.
The real power behind all of the projects that you have heard about in this 20th anniversary special of Christmas at the Cathedral is the power of prayer. And in particular, the prayer of the Perpetual Adoration Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. This is a group of women who, even though you may not have heard of, live on the campus of the Cathedral of St. Joseph. They live in what is called a contemplative or cloistered community, dedicating their entire lives to praying for each of us.
Frankly, I'm just so impressed with their patience and their presence. They came into living quarters that were temporary, and so they've lived with certain restrictions of living out their vocation, what they call their rule, because of the limited living environment.
The special charism is to be in adoration for all the people. I wanted to do more to help Jesus, but in a special way, especially to consecrate my life for all the people, and I can go to everywhere through my prayer. And this must be the community contemplative of the Adoration Sisters.
This is my mission in the church, the adoration, the perpetual adoration, and for acts to Jesus for many needs from the people.
The prayer is our life. It's very important. Without prayer, we cannot live.
People call them up and say, my mom's going to have surgery, or there's a struggle in our family. Would you please pray for us specifically? And that's an intercessory prayer. They pray that God will give strength and courage and hope to those who are challenged in many different ways.
It's very important, and we all the people, when they call and they pray for this intention, pray for that, always our mother invite us, pray for them in the moment, in the adoration, and pray for them. But the praying is very, very important. Yes, we believe that, and we want to share to the people for believe, because it's the truth.
They've invested themselves here with us, and it's important for us to recognize that they made a commitment, and we need to support them, because this is the rest of their lives for them. Once they're consecrated within this religious order, it's the rest of their lives, and we need to be supportive. We need to provide the environment that allows them to live their vocation, their rule better, and then to allow them to be prayers on our behalf in a higher profile way. And hopefully we'll encourage people around the diocese to say, my mom's sick, or we have this issue, one thing or another, and let them know. And then there's a comfort knowing that these sisters who've committed themselves to Christ are praying for us. They are part of us, they're part of our family, an important part of our family, which most people don't know about yet. But our goal is that we be able to share this great gift that's been here for so long with more people.
If you'd like to learn more about the Perpetual Adoration Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, go to their website. There you can easily submit a prayer request to the sisters. You can also donate to the campaign to build a permanent monastery dedicated to intercessory prayer right here on the campus of the Cathedral. Thank you for joining us for this special broadcast of Christmas at the Cathedral. We've been blessed over the past 20 years to celebrate with you the birth of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Now sit back and enjoy this year's 20th anniversary Christmas at the Cathedral concert titled Reimagine Christmas.